Welcome back, guys. Between Bells at Cheddar News, the Metaverse is taking the internet by storm, literally. The phrase, which has become increasingly popular in the last few months, is turning heads for a lot of reasons, one of which, nobody understands what it is. So joining us now to help answer this is Stephanie Humphrey, technology and lifestyle expert. Stephanie, such a pleasure to have you here. So could you answer this question for us? What is the Metaverse?
So the Metaverse, thank you for having me, by the way. The Metaverse is that convergence of physical, augmented, and virtual realities online. So think about Peloton right now. One of the reasons why Peloton is so popular is because they've created this community of people. You know, you got the big screen in front of your bike. You feel like you're riding with other people. There's leaderboards and scoreboards. So you've sort of immersed yourself in the spin experience. The Metaverse would take that one step further and make it even more present, where maybe you're in a virtual reality space where you're riding right next to someone. And it also means that it's portable, so you can be riding at home, you can be riding at vacation, you can be riding from anywhere because you have the power of the internet. So it's just a way to get us all more deeply connected in our online experiences.
Okay, I think that Peloton example is really good. And by the way, this all has really come percolating to a head because Mark Zuckerberg, in his interview with The Verge, effectively said that Facebook wants to be part of the Metaverse as well. So I know you use Peloton as an example, but what about Facebook or these tech companies? What would the Metaverse mean for somebody like them?
So the Metaverse would not exist in a vacuum. There is no one person or one company that would control the Metaverse. But what Mark Zuckerberg, I think, is trying to do is be the company that provides the hardware for a Metaverse. So, you know, when we're all in these virtual spaces, you're still going to need a headset. You're still going to need some sort of AR glasses or something like that. So Mark Zuckerberg wants to be the provider of that hardware in a very similar way to the way Apple or Samsung provide our smartphones now, and then you have a bunch of different people that can make apps that we use on the smartphone. Zuckerberg wants to be the person that provides the hardware, and then all of these different tech companies and creators and entertainment companies and music companies and gaming companies can create the software that will live on top of that hardware.
All right, so that would make sense that you would use Oculus for that. They basically already have some of the hardware already there. And by the way, the esports world, Stephanie, has really already sort of used the Metaverse already. I mean, you have games like Fortnite, Roblox, even Animal Crossing, adding Metaverse-like elements already. How did Fortnite in particular, Stephanie, grow from simply just a video game to now the Metaverse?
Well, it's been their use of, you know, add-ons, things you can do in the game. Having your own avatar is definitely a big part of being in a metaverse. So they were able to take that and run with it. But they're using things from Marvel. They're using things from DC where you can kind of create this persona that you want to live out in this metaverse and have this experience that you can then share with people all around the world. So you're connected at the same time.
So, Stephanie, would you consider Metaverse maybe a safe investor play, or is there a lot of risk here? I mean, why are we just now finding out about the Metaverse now?
Well, it's funny, you know, Mark Zuckerberg claims he's been thinking about this and ruminating on this since he was in middle school. But I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that the federal government is scrutinizing him very, very closely for antitrust and different things like that. So Facebook needs to find a different source of revenue. And if it can be these hardware devices, these headsets, these augmented glasses, that would take some of the pressure off of them if the government does decide to break Facebook up and splinter off Instagram and WhatsApp and different things like that. They don't want to be so reliant on ad revenue. If they can create this metaverse within the next 5 to 10 years, that would add a very significant revenue source to their portfolio.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the 5 to 10 years part in this because, again, is this some offshoot, long, far away dream that we're talking about here, or is the metaverse something that's going to be in our lives within the very near future?
I think it's going to take a while because, again, the hardware is just not there yet to support what the metaverse is intended to do. However, I do think this is the direction that our online activity is going in. I think people want to have a more immersive experience, a more connected experience, a more personal experience. So, you know, whether it's 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, I think we will eventually see a metaverse online.
And what about from an entertainment perspective? Could you see companies like Netflix all these streamers getting into this as well, because if you're basically creating some sort of, immersive sort of technology here that people are basically able to feel like they're in the production, I feel like that also could be a boom for the entertainment industry.
It's going to be a boom for everybody. And we're already seeing it in entertainment. There was a Whitney Houston hologram concert that just happened recently. But think about that as opposed to you sitting watching it on a screen. You're watching it and you feel like you're in the theater with Whitney Houston. That's the level that the metaverse takes this to. But it has applications across work. So no longer do you have to be the little Zoom grid box and you're looking at talking heads in a meeting. Now you can feel like you're actually in meetings with your coworkers. Think about it for community, for creators. There are so many different applications of what you could do in a metaverse. It's really practically unlimited.
Could we see platforms change, Stephanie, as more companies start to lean into the metaverse? Will platforms essentially start to change as a result of that?
Well, that's where it's gonna have to go. So, instead of you sort of with your head down, tapping on your phone, you'll be with a headset on and you'll actually be interacting with someone on Instagram. You can actually tell them personally that you like their photo and tell them why and explain why and have a conversation about that inside this virtual space. So everything, if this metaverse actually does come to fruition, everything we know about the internet is going to change.
Well, we all feel so much smarter now because of you, Stephanie. Thank you so much for breaking it all down for us. Stephanie Humphrey is a technology and lifestyle expert.